G'day and welcome back to MTG. I'm Tim, here's Greg, and we have the pre-release kit for Murders at Karlov Manor. I'm excited about this because I'm going to be going to pre-release, sorry.
Yep.
And I love drafting. I've been getting into it a whole heap. It's an interesting equalizer. If you play a lot of Commander, I highly recommend going and drafting.
Good, yep.
Yeah, it's really fun. So let's crack this open and see what we've got inside. So on the front here, oh, there you go, Taste of Karlov is dead.
So this is an opening for the Adventurers Guild. So just let everyone know this is opening ahead of time. Pre-release is on the 2nd, or starting on the 2nd of February. At the Adventurers Guild, we are actually doing a Saturday pre-release at 4 PM.
Don't mind me. I'm just seeing if we've had a few weird little clues and stuff. Have a look at some of our shorts about what's coming out. I'm just looking deep for clues.
I do like the tokens that they've done the tokens.
Yes,
so that's different.
Yeah.
So they've done the tokens in the actual box.
Yes,
that's pretty
where
cool.
they used to have art on the front there, but yeah, interesting. So yeah, we'll crack it open. We'll have a look what's inside. It did say these were made in Japan and the dice was in China, so I really like that. We'll have a look at the dice. The dice is generic dice. Black speckle, quite nice, and it's got the symbol on it.
I'm sure there's 5 different variants of the dice.
Probably.
Maybe a secret variant, who knows? It is a secretive set, so.
Could be. Here's a way to, detective story. Oh, that's cool. Murder file investigation. Anyway, we'll look at that later. This tells you how to build your deck if you haven't done one before. 15 to 18 creatures, 5 to 8 other spells, 17 lands.
I think the it'll just tell you what the tropes are. Normally that one, unless it's different. Yeah, it just tells you what the tropes are.
No,
red deck box.
This is weird. Follow the instructions, tell you how to modify the sequence of letters. Ignore the spaces and punctuation. So it's NS. It's all this stuff here, so there's a clue in this. So there'll be something fun to solve for you. We're not going to do it for you. A little bit of an art card.
What did you get?
So you've got the box topper. You've got Vanifar.
Oh, nice.
Evolved Enigma. We'll just have a look inside here. Don't show my
code.
Yeah, whatever. Vanifar.
Pause it.
Yeah, try to get it. Melik. Oh, wow.
Nice.
Oh, double mythic.
Oh, double mythic box.
Wow, that's actually really
nice.
nice.
Weird. It doesn't have a stamp on it. One's stamped, one's not stamped.
Yeah,
that's really
true. Yeah, you do have
but
the
double mythic
stamp.
Double mythic.
Double mythic's great.
Oh, yeah,
and
more
a little
tokens.
token with a nice little tiled area. I like that. So yeah, these are going to be interesting. You can use these as well. So when you're drafting, obviously try to hit 2 colors. 1 color can work. I usually look for 2 colors. This set has a lot of multicolor in it as well.
It's a Ravnica set, so predominantly Ravnica is the guild, so they're all either 2 or 3 colors, well, mostly 2 colors.
Which is great. So we've got Vitu-Ghazi Inspector. This has, so a lot of these have collect evidence. I don't think it's going to be as relevant in drafting, especially when you're at 2 mana and you're trying to cast this out. It's not really going to be that
drafting
great.
Or sealed, which is what the pre-release is technically.
Yes, yep. We've got Gadget Technician, not too bad.
The Disguise is
Disguise is alright.
Could possibly make effects.
It's a lot of mana though, like paying 3 mana for a 2/2 with Wood 2 is a lot. The fact that you can then pay the 2 to flip it up and make it a 3/2 and get that additional effect's not too bad. So there's a little combat trick. It's okay. I can see it going to be an alright effect.
Or is it better to just play it as the card and punch people's face in? Like, what's going to be better?
No. So there's a lot of synergy in this with Power 2 creatures. There's a lot of cards that matter with that. So a lot of that is going to come into play here. Return a card to your hand, investigate. So you got clues, which are really good. Being able to draw cards, getting a little bit more value. This guy's amazing. He's a reach 2/2, and you get 2 effects. You can destroy target artifact or sack an artifact and put 2 +1/+1s on it. So for 3 mana, sacking something off, you can get him quite big. And reach as well, which is really nice. Yeah.
Clue, make him a 4/4 for
Reconstruction. 2 less if you put a creature in your graveyard from anywhere. So if you milled it or surveilled it in this, return up 2 creature cards from your graveyard to your hand. So yeah, 2 mana to get 2 cards out can be quite good. Out of out cold, sorry. Spell can't be countered. Tap up to 2 target creatures, put a stun counter on each of them, investigate. All right, I prefer, if you're going to do anything, I'd go combat tricks more. Try to kill creatures rather than tap them down.
That is a combat trick. You can tap them down before you get into combat. If someone's got something big or something hasty, you can wreck their day.
2 works pretty okay. 4 mana, so it's getting a bit up there.
It's Leyline
binding, amazing. Anything like that, a little trick and
it's Leyline binding
you life.
with life.
Yeah, it's really nice. Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah, forensic researcher, untap permanents, and collecting evidence to tap creatures. Okay, not
What's
the best.
a Merfolk for Merfolk tribal decks?
Detective too, because there is actually quite a bit of detective synergy in this set. Exile target attacking creature, 2 mana, great.
Been done before.
Definitely keep that. Expose the culprit, choose one or both. Yeah, good card, interesting, especially at instant speed too. Meddling use. Yeah, so this is caring about attacking with creatures. It's a hasty 4/5. It's all right. I probably wouldn't build around it if I had to.
Niv Mizzet. Yeah.
Unfortunately, very hard to build around, especially when you're drafting. 5 colors, very hard.
Yep.
Bubble Smuggler says there's a disguise 6, so it's probably never going to happen. But late game, you might get some value out of it. And beautiful swamp.
You might choose to go Niv Mizzet and throw him in the bin.
Very possible.
You could play big bangers just to discard them.
Yeah, look, the hard thing with the Niv Mizzet is his ability in this one is you've got to get color pairings. I believe this guy cares about. X damage to any target. Target player draws X card, you gain X life, where X is the number of different colored pairs amongst permanents you control that are exactly 2 colors. So you have to go a color paired deck.
That's really weird.
Yeah. So he was a lot like the other one was when he entered, you could look at the top 10, take one of each color pair, put it into your hand. So with that deck in Commander, great, but drafting, I don't think it's going to be very effective.
But look,
a 5 mana 6/6 flying hexproof from multicolor.
If you want to troll, but most of the removal is single colored. So it's not, he doesn't even protect against that. He's more a commander card, like you said.
Yeah. So yeah, a lot of these disguise you will see, especially in the commons and uncommons, they are quite expensive to actually use its disguised effect. So I don't really like them as much. So this one here, whenever another creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under you control, it gains flying until the end of the turn. So that cares about you doing that disguise ability.
That's really cool.
Behind the mask, it's kind of like the one where you could turn a artifact into a 4/3 dinosaur in the last set. But yeah, you can turn your creature into a 4/3, or if you collect the evidence, you can turn their creature into a 1/1. So it's actually dual purpose, which is really good. I like it.
Cool.
Yeah, instant 1 mana, quite nice. 4 damage to target creature. Cost 3 less if you sacked an artifact this turn, so you can get some clues. Pay 2 mana, 4 damage, can't be countered. Yeah, really decent. Sorcery though, so it's a little bit slower. Sanitation automation? Automaton. When it enters the battlefield. Surveil 1, so ways to get creatures into it. I really like this card. This is your Ren's Resolve and a lot of those ones where you either sack an artifact or discard a card. Sacking the artifact is probably the best part of this because then you don't have to discard the card, which is so you get a bit more value out of it, especially if you're making clues and bits and pieces. Clandestine Meddler, 3 mana, 3/2. When it enters the battlefield, suspect up to 1 other target creature you control. When 1 or more suspect creatures you control attack, Surveil 1. So, all right, if you want to make a menace, a good way to sort of help get your creatures through. Burden of Proof.
Flash is good.
Yeah, Flash is really good. And you can turn it into a 1/1. So you can use it offensive and defensively.
Oh, that's got the case.
Yeah, so this is really nice. When it enters the battlefield, you search your library for a basic land card, put it into your hand to solve it. If there's 5 or more, 5 colors amongst permanents you control, so Niv Mizzet, you can get that. And then at the beginning of combat on your turn, target creature you control gains flying, double strike, and vigilance until the end of the turn.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Look, that's even good for example, in my mono red deck where you have very little land draw.
Fetch,
it's colorless. I don't care that the enchantment stays on the battlefield and doesn't affect me, but I still get 2 mana to search for a card. In my mono red, that's actually decent.
Yeah, can be good. A Haunch, so you can sack it. When it's put into your graveyard, you can pay 2. If you do, you get 2 1/1 white dog creature tokens. So really nice, really good way to have food and get some more value out of an equipment.
There you go, nice.
Shrew's Charm,
That's
brilliant.
a great card.
Love it. especially if you're dipping 2 colours. Casting that's going to be very easy. Oh, Massacre
cool,
Girl.
Massacre Girl.
So yeah, this is like what we were talking about when you're drafting and you're opening up this pack.
Sealed.
Sealed. You see some. Well, sealed doesn't matter because you're not passing the pack on in it.
Yeah, but sealed is what you want because.
Yes, sealed. Getting more is great.
But drafting is what you're talking about as well.
Yeah, this is a change that you'll really notice in draft, and you really feel it when someone passes you a rare or a mythic. So Menace, creatures you control have Wither. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, if its toughness was less than 1, draw a card. So really cool. So if you're doing damage with Wither and they die, then you're getting you're drawing cards.
Put it in a Toxtrol deck, or put Toxtrol as the commander and put that in your deck. It's value. Any
way to do Wither's amazing in it. Yep.
Gross.
Forest.
Scarab God. It's going to be anything with -1 counters, so it's going in Toxtrol, Scarab God.
Yep. Defender 3/2. When you draw your second card each turn, it loses defend against vigilance. So 2 mana for a 3/2 is quite nice. When it attacks, if it's not suspected, you may suspect it. So 5 mana 5/5, which can give itself menace. Not too bad. Fish no warrior, which is weird. Cerebral, confiscation, good card. Should be decent. The inspector, the technician, death touch 3/3 for 4. When it enters the battlefield or is turned faced up, target creature gains indestructible until the end of the turn. So that's nice to have, that it's either ETB as well, which I think a lot of these disguise cards really need a bit more of, because it is 6 mana to do that disguise effect. So
that's crazy.
Yeah, good to get through though. When it enters, tap targeting enchanted creature, it doesn't untap, and then you can pay to shuffle it into its library. I really like that. A lot of them, you were able to use your creatures to sack them off to do effects, especially in black in the last set. So being able to shuffle their creature in response for 2 blue.
Look, if it's a value creature that they're still getting the activated abilities or anything of, then you're still stuffed. So at least you can get rid of it. Removal in blue.
Yep.
It's expensive, but
this one's pretty average. It's 7 mana, reach 3/3, and you distribute 3+1/+1s amongst 1, 2, or 3 target creature. Then you gain life equal to the greatest toughness among creatures you control. It's a lot, but look, it could be okay if you're playing a slower top end deck. Getting a bit of life sometimes works.
Look, you can play itself. It's a 7 for 7. It's a 6/6
for 7.
6/6 reach for 7 that gives you 6 life.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's actually not bad. Look, that's a bomb. That's a big bomb.
It's alright, yeah.
Not bad.
This guy's not too bad.
Yeah,
Can't be blocked by creatures with power 3 or greater, which is nice. When it's turned faced up, return another target creature to its owner's hand. So you're playing it on 3, and then on 4 you're paying 2 to flip it. Bounce a creature. It's not bad. Or you can just play it out on turn 2 and just start punching in.
Doggy!
Yeah. Good old watchdog. Vigilance 3/2. Permanents your opponent's control can't be turned face up during your turn. And whenever you attack with 3 or more creatures control get +1/+1 until the end of the turn. So it makes himself a little bit bigger as well.
He doesn't even have to attack if you don't want him to.
No, which is really good. Then we've got Drag the Canal. So 2 mana, create a 2/2 white and blue detective creature. If a creature died this turn, you gain 2 life, surveil 2, and then investigate. So a lot of stuff on this card.
Pretty good.
For 2 mana at instant speed. I love this. This is a really good card. If I had that in my draft, I would straight away try to turn to blue-black.
Worst case, it gets you out of death. You might stop someone killing you with a 2/2. Best case, you play it for everything. There you go. So
Ghost Quarter.
Oh, nice.
Not the best list card to have, but interesting. Yeah, so list will impact it. Special guests will be weird. It's going to be very hard to try to guess what people have in their decks with that kind of stuff.
So they're not standard legal, but they're obviously draft legal.
Yes, you can play them in the set. Yeah.
And sealed legal, because anything you play in this, unless it specifies. There's a few fairies, which might be nice. Yeah. It's pretty cool.
But like I said, the Collect Evidence 6 is very hard. The one nice thing about the Collect Evidence is when you cast a spell with Collect Evidence or activated ability with it, no one can interact with your graveyard while you're doing it. So if you have that, if you have that in it, it's an additional cost, kind of like sack a creature.
Because it's exiling.
Blah, blah, blah. Exactly, yeah. So you can get the value out of it, but it's going to be very hard to make it work all the time. Cool little goblin. Makes your face down spells 1 less, which is really nice.
That was cool.
This guy, when he's turned face up, target opponent loses 3. Look, it's 6 mana. That's what I mean. Like some of these are really hard to do. good way to filter your mana. So a 1/3 for 2 and being able to filter is quite nice. I do like as well that you can pay 2 to exile it, and from your graveyard to exile it someone else's cards.
Weird,
so good to try to get around when people are trying to use cards. The chase is on. Good little combat trick, investigating it, so it's essentially replacing itself. Absorbing Lamassu. Lamassu? Yeah. Enters the battlefield. All suspected creatures are no longer suspected. When it dies, you gain 3 life and suspect up to 1 target creature an opponent controls. So, yeah, it's alright. I'd probably...
If you need to remove their suspect.
Yeah, I don't think there's not a heap of suspect synergy in here. There's some, but it's going to be okay. So 2 mana, 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, suspect up to 1 target creature control, and then you can sacrifice the suspect creature, and target creature gets -5 until end of turn. So it's okay. It's a good way to give yourself a little bit of combat evasion. Polygraph Orb. Look at top 4 cards. Put 2 of them into your hand, and the rest into your graveyard. You lose 2 life, so 5 mana, which is not too bad for that. Bit slow though, and 2 tap it, collect evidence 3. Each opponent loses 3 life unless they discard a card or sack a creature. So this could be one of your sort of like bombs or your enders that you're kind of looking for. But yeah, pretty okay. Krenko's Buzz Crusher. Better in Commander, less good. But I mean, 4 mana, 4/4 Flying Trample is still okay. But its second ability is not as good as what it could be.
There you go.
Oh, that's nice. World Soul's Rage.
Lands cards.
So not as great in Commander again if you're playing a Land Matters deck, but in Draft not as strong. Chases on nice. Full Swamp. Mysterious Creature. Oh, that's interesting. So instead of having Disguised and Shroud, it's just Mysterious Creature. So Escape Tunnel is another Evolving Wilds, Terramorphic Expanse.
But it doesn't come in tapped.
No, and you can also make a target creature with power 2 or less can't be blocked this turn. So it's interesting. It's a little bit better. Yeah, I would actually replace most of them with that. Make your move, a good combat trick. Benthic Criminologist, okay. You can sack an artifact to draw a card. When it's dealt 3 or more damage, you get to investigate. So quite nice. Can be good as a good blocker. If it's suspected, put a +1/+1. Otherwise, you can suspect on it. Crowd Control Warden. When it's turned into the battlefield, turn face up, put X +1/+1s on it, where X is the number of other creatures you control. So it can be a decent little bomb for 5 mana to flip it to make a big creature. Fanatical Strength, a great card for green. That's nice. Expose the Culprit. Turn target face down creature face up. So that's a really good way to abuse it. Yeah, and at instant speed, it's really, really nice. I think that'll be a really strong one. Greenbelt Radical, Disguise 7. I mean, it's very hard. Here you go. Fuss and Bother. Yeah, these dual cards are actually really good. A lot of them are quite nice for what they do. I would definitely put most of them in. When it enters the battlefield, target creature -4/-4. When 1 or more creature cards leave your graveyard, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life.
So that's why you want to use the Disguise or whatever it is.
Yep. Yeah, but it's good because it's an enchantment, stays around. I would almost use that in Commander as well. I think it will be quite a decent little card. World Soul's Rage, Gadget Technician, Forest Detective. So we haven't seen any special guests yet, or
no, not any good lists.
No, nothing
nothing crazy
that would change the game. Hotshot Investigators, the Orangutan, Reconstruction, the Creeper. Market Watch Phantom, Out Cold, Murder,
which is blatant removal.
Yep,
and been done a million times before, but cool art.
So when this dude attacks, you can sack an artifact or discard a card. If you do, draw a card and it gets +2/+0. So I like the sack the artifact effect on this. I think it's going to be good.
I like the discard a card so then you can pay for the disguise.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is.
Yes. Harry Dronesmith, beginning combat on turn, create a 1/1 flopped artifact creature taken with flying, gains haste, but then you got to sack it. So it's kind of like the Commander version ones, but you have to sack it at the end as well.
It's like having Rags. Ragavan.
Yeah, it's okay. When this dude enters the battlefield, mill 3 cards and sack it, return all land cards from your graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Going to be amazing in Commander, this card. It's going to be okay in Draft. You don't really care that much. Oh, Rakdos. Yep, Patron of Chaos, Flying Trample, 6/6 for 6. At the beginning of your end step, target opponent may sack 2 non-land, non-token permanents. If they don't, you draw 2 cards.
Pretty good.
Good card.
I'd take
really
it.
Strong. I'd build around that, 100%.
Oh.
And Aurelia.
Jesus.
Jeez. Flying Vigilance Haste. When your player attacks with 3 or more creatures, you draw a card. 5 or more creatures, does 3 damage to each of your opponents and gain 3 life. So not as strong drafting, better in Commander because it's all your
and
opponents,
that's whenever a
good
player, because
Yes.
that's you or your
Yes,
opponent.
so you're going to crack and
you
then
get burnt benefits and you kind of stop them from attacking with so many creatures. That's pretty cool.
playing some art card. So yeah, interesting. I know the common and the uncommon pool's a bit pinched for this set, so it's going to be a lot easier to draft around, know what's going to be coming out. But then again, you're looking, there's a lot more rares and mythics, so you got to be worried about the scarier cards coming out. But yeah, I think it's a great set. I think it's going to be great to draft. There's
Looks
nothing
fun.
too crazy in it.
No, there's nothing too crazy.
But
like
good color pairs as well.
Yeah,
I like them.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting. I think it's going to be a slower game. Like
Yes.
the games will run in the full 45-minute rounds, I think, unlike some sets that you notice a lot of the time everyone after 20 minutes has done their 3 rounds, three games per opponent.
Yeah.
I think this one, because of the mana cost of it, you're going to see 6, 8, 9, 10, 12 rounds in a game. So just be mindful of that. I think it might be one to try and play a little faster if you are being a bit more competitive.
Yep.
You want to get those wins to get your ratios up, because if you don't, I think you're going to miss out. And that's obviously part of also about the effect of the sealed effect. It's everything plays a small part to get you that win. So
Yeah. But yeah, cool set.
Cool set.
Good luck.
Good luck. Have fun in the draft.